going in a run, going up Cripple Creek, have a little fun. Going up Cripple Creek, going in the world, going up Cripple Creek, see my girl. Cripple Creek's wide and Cripple Creek's deep. I wait on Cripple Creek before I sleep. Roll my britches up to my knees. Wait on Cripple Creek when I please. Going up Cripple Creek, going in a run, going up Cripple Creek, have a little fun. Going up Cripple Creek, going in the world, going up Cripple Creek, see my girl. Good girls on Cripple Creek, about half grown, jump on a man like a dog on a bone. Kiss your lips, taste sweet as wine. Wrap her legs around me like a sweet potato vine. Going up to Cripple Creek, going in a run, going up Cripple Creek, have a little fun. Going up to Cripple Creek, going in the world, going up Cripple Creek, see my girl. If y'all go on your internet there and you look up the Cripple Creek Cotton Eye Joe, Greg Klyma, it'll take you to a video. I tell you about how I come to play the mandolin in the first place, and I do my version of that song, right? And then when you get done watching a video on YouTube, they want to keep you there watching other videos on YouTube. They're like, well, if you liked that video, perhaps you'll like these videos, you know? And it's like one of the videos that I saw was Buffy St. Marie, a very famous Canadian folk singer in the 1960s and 70s, and it's got to be like early 1970s. She's on Sesame Street and she sings. She's got a mouth bow in her mouth. It's like an arched piece of wood with a string on it. She's like pulls it out of her face, going up to Cripple Creek, going in a run, going up Cripple Creek, back, and standing next to her the whole time singing harmony is it's a Muppet horse. Going up Cripple Creek, going in a run, going up Cripple Creek, have a little fun, right? And there's this one verse where she looks right at the camera and she winks, and she like right to the kids watching Sesame Street. Girls on Cripple Creek, about half grown, jump on a man like a dog on a bone. That's what's wrong with Sesame Street today, friends. Elmo ain't singing the right shit to our kids.
Nice.
Son, you know you're capable. Sometimes you gotta push the cart when there ain't no horse to pull it. It ain't no real big secret, it's just that you tried. While others are content but wonder why, oh why, oh why. How's it going? How you doing, my friend? It's been a long time since we've had a conversation. You're saying I felt the same way too. But this time about a year ago I was feeling just like you. I was standing next to the lake, the water started getting high. I had to head out for the hills, I did not want to die. How's it going? How you doing, my friend? It's been a long time since we've had a conversation. How's it going? How you doing, my friend? Just like in Guy Clark's Desperados waiting for a train. When my time is over, if I happen to meet that fate. Well, I hope that you'll be there, Grandpa, to greet me at the gate, singing, how's it going? How you doing, my friend? It's been a long time since we've had a conversation. How's it going? How you doing, my friend? How's it going? How you doing, my friend? It's been a long time since we've had a conversation. How's it going? How you doing, my friend? Here comes the fancy part. Thank you.
Drop the beat.
How's it going? How about it for Dave Patmore having us all over here at his house, playing a set of music to open the show.
Very nice, Dave.
I just recorded a new album last year. Did it on the, I think it was the 18th of June, 17th and 18th of June. And recorded 16 songs, pared the album down to 12 songs. It's a 12-song album called Another Man's Treasure. There was one song that I wanted to get around to recording, and we did not. I've had a hard time recording the song. I didn't even try. Our time was limited on this particular project. But I wrote a song for my grandfather a number of years ago that I really would like to record one of these days and have it out there, you know. It's called My Grandpa's Purple Heart, and it goes like this here. You know, my grandpa, he rarely talked about the war. Grandpa used to say, you gotta leave room for criticism, and Grandpa used to say that he liked Grandma best. Grandpa used to say, if you eat that tomato, it will put hair on your chest. But my grandpa, he rarely talked about the war. Grandpa used to make things out of wood. Grandpa used to take his time on a back roads country drive, and Grandpa played harmonica with me and my band until he died at age 79. And my grandpa, he rarely talked about the war. Grandpa fought in World War II, the sequel to the war to end all wars. I loved him and respected him for sure, so I never pressed him hard to tell me more. And my grandpa rarely talked about the war. What it was like for him to be in the Pacific on that day. My grandpa took a bullet in the leg, crawled behind a tree until the medics came. And he said to me, you know, that tree is why I'm standing here today. And that anecdote was typically all my grandpa had to say.
Wait.
I loved him and respected him for sure, so I never pressed him hard to tell me more. But that bullet wound on his ankle was not the only scar. My grandpa rarely talked about the war. Grandpa used to say, you gotta leave room for criticism. Grandpa was a jack of all trades, And he told a silly joke about Mr. Bates and his son, Master Bates. But the memory I have of him speaks volumes to me now. You know my grandpa, he rarely talked about the war. So I typically don't play shows where a dog is present, and I was reminded just now why. Because you can play two pretty upbeat, loud kind of songs, and the dog's gonna be quiet through the whole thing, and then you play something really quiet and get to like the lyric in the song, like really like the reason why you wrote the song is to say that thing, and the fucking dog's like yap yap yap. Which is why I don't work with dogs. I don't do it.
Dogs are dicks.
Nice timing, Nick.
So that song didn't end up on the album, but a song about my dad actually did.
That was a good song. I like that a lot.
Thank you very much. I do hope.
It reminded me of my grandpa. Who also
I really want to record it someday. You know, it's just it's hard to
Really good song.
it's hard to sit in a studio and record it. You know, I think what I need to do is like I need to maybe like record it at just a number of shows until I capture it, right? So we'll
Did
see.
we not get it there?
One of these days. What's that now?
You might have
the
it
dog.
there. Oh, the dog.
Yeah. Dog. It's like the chicken song you did last year.
Yeah.
Abby helped you out on that one too.
Oh, I don't remember that, but
Yeah.
thanks for reminding me of the trauma.
Abby's here just to throw one hand grenade during the show.
That particular grandfather was the father of my dad. My father and I have had an interesting enough relationship. I'm sure all sons and fathers do. You know, we still get into some pretty loud conversation when the topic of religion comes up, and not so much so with political things. But it's like seeing eye to eye with your father does not seem to be the thing that most people execute very well in their lifetimes. It takes so it's a journey, right? I learned this early on. It's like in the second grade, right? I'm in the second grade, and this is before Kinko's was on every corner. Somebody came to school when I was in the second grade and handed out, a flyer to everybody. It was for the Beverly Hills Athletic Association. I think, what do you call it? Was it mimeographing, right? So you get it, and it's like, you remember. I'm not the only one that remembers that the smell of a fresh run flyer, It's like second grade crack, right? So you're like, give me some more. Can I have another? I want to sign up for baseball twice, Give me that. So, you take it home and you ask, you're 7 years old, you don't know what you're asking your mom and dad to do, and what you're asking them to do is give up hours out of their day twice a week to get you to practice and then get you to your games on the weekend and everything and buy you a mitt and a uniform, but you're like, I want to play baseball, So I take it home, mom and dad signed me up for baseball, I was in the league. You can play Little League Baseball until you're like 15 years old. When I got to high school, I'm in the 9th grade, freshman year, I decide I've been playing baseball for the last 10 years of my life, right? I'm gonna try out for baseball at school. But I didn't make the team. A bunch of other guys from the Little League team were in the high school. Everybody tried out, and some guys were just better at baseball than I was. So I come home. Baseball runs at the same time of year in school as track. And I come home and I tell my parents, it's like I didn't make the baseball team. And I'm kind of broke up about it. I really had my hopes set on playing baseball. And my dad's like, well, why don't you try out for track? I'm like, Dad, track and baseball run at the same time, and I'm a baseball man, So it's like I join the Little League, I play Little League Baseball. And then 10th grade rolls around and I try out for the team again. Turned out all those guys that had played baseball the previous year for the team got better. So I didn't make the team again in the 10th grade, and once again my dad's like, why don't you try out for track? I'm like, Dad, I'm a baseball player, I went out for the Little League Baseball team and I played Little League Baseball. Now in my 11th grade year, didn't try out for anything. I was over I'm not going to make the baseball team at school, and I was too old for Little League, so I'm done playing baseball, But now it's my senior year in high school, the grand finale, and there's that physical education test that you got to take. How many sit-ups can you do in a minute? How pull-ups can you do? Push-ups, all that kind of stuff. And you got to run. You got to run sprints. You got to run a mile. I ran the mile in like 6 minutes and 6 seconds. And the guy that turned out to be the track coach was the gym coach. coach, and he's like, hey, you just ran a pretty good mile. Turns out 6 minutes and 6 seconds is pretty good for a suburb kid, you know, Olympic run or anything, but like doing all right for my class. And he's like, we've lost some long distance runners. We could use a guy like you on the team, you know? I'm like, well, why not? I'm a senior. I'll give it a try. So I go home. I tell my mom and dad, hey, I ran this mile. I did really great. The coach was kind of psyched about my performance. He thought that maybe with some training I could become a bit, like an asset to the team. So guess what? Trying out for the track team. My dad just kind of like shakes his head and he looks at me and he goes, I never understood why you gave up on baseball. My dad was a garbage man. My dad was a garbage man. My dad was a garbage man. Held onto a truck, man, it stung. Walking through your neighborhoods, picking up cans. Your dad is a sanitation worker. My dad was a garbage man. Breakfast and dinner, it's an antiquated system, but it worked alright. Had 3 kids and provided for them. My daddy was a garbage man. Never had everything we wanted. Sure enough, had everything we needed. Plenty of stuff money can't buy. But I don't believe it, ought to give it a try. My dad got a CDL, finished his career behind the wheel. A lot of stuff changes over 34 years. You triple up them syllables, the meaning disappears. Your dad's an environmental social worker. And my dad was a garbage man. It's a job that I respect and words I understand. My daddy was a garbage
Really good. Yeah.
When my mom and dad were young, they went to school. And for teachers, they had nuns, priests and nuns. And for discipline, those teachers all had rulers. They would slap your hands and butts. And brother, tell you what, I don't ever wanna fuck with a nun. When I was young, I went to school. We had art and music classes, yes, and even some gymnastics. And the only time I ever saw a gun, I was out hunting with my dad. We were nowhere near the cafeteria. I hear a lot about how things have changed. Children nowadays who go to school, some are gonna sue their underpaid teachers just for looking at them sideways, and they do other things that I could never do. 'Cause I don't understand, and you don't understand, and we could never understand. And their parents learn about it on the news. This ain't an ancient riddle written out in Sanskrit lines. It's a one-act play with a revolving cast that's been staged 1,000 times. The stagehands know the rigging